गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पदानश्चण्वन्नोदिभिः सीदसा सादनम् ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे श्रीगुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ श्री शंकराचार्य स्वामिने नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।
नमस्ते महोदय। भानुरेखा भगिनी।
बुद्धेर्भेदं धृतेश्चैव गुणतस्त्रिविधं शृणु प्रोच्यमानमशेषेण पृथक्त्वेन धनञ्जय।
अनुपमा भगिनी।
प्रवृत्तिञ्च निवृत्तिञ्च कार्याकार्ये भयाभये बन्धं मोक्षं च या वेत्ति बुद्धिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी।
गुड।
उषा श्रीनिवासन भगिनी।
यया धर्ममधर्मं च कार्यं चाकार्यमेव च अयतावत् प्रजानाति बुद्धिः सा पार्थ राजसी।
गुड।
ललिता भगिनी।
अधर्मं धर्ममिति या मन्यते तमसावृता सर्वार्थान् विपरीतांश्च बुद्धिः सा पार्थ तामसी।
लक्ष्मी भगिनी।
तृतीया धारयते मनः प्राणेन्द्रियक्रियाः योगेनाव्यभिचारिण्या धृतिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी।
गुरुमूर्ति महोदय।
यया तु धर्म कामार्था धृत्या धारयते अर्जुन प्रसंगेन फलाकांक्षी सा पार्थ राजसी।
शीला शिंदे भगिनी।
यया स्वप्नं भयं शोकं विषादं मदमेव च न विमुञ्चन्ति दुर्मेधाः धृति सा पार्थ तामसी।
न विमुञ्चति, not विमुञ्चन्ति, न विमुञ्चति दुर्मेधाः
न विमुञ्चति दुर्मेधाः धृतिः सा पार्थ तामसी।
Okay, so we'll go to the new shloka for today.
राजेश्वरी शिवशंकर भगिनी।
सुखं द्विधानीं त्रिविधं
सुखं द्विधानीं त्रिविधं सुखं द्विधानीं त्रिविधं
शृणु मे भरतर्षभ
शृणु मे भरतर्षभ शृणु मे भरतर्षभ।
सुखं द्विधानीं त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभ
सुखं द्विधानीं त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभ सुखं द्विधानीं त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभ।
विजयलक्ष्मी भगिनी।
अभ्यासाद्रमते यत्र
अभ्यासाद्रमते यत्र अभ्यासाद्रमते यत्र
दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति
दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति
अभ्यासाद्रमते यत्र दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति
अभ्यासात्रमते यत्र दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति अभ्यासाद्रमते यत्र दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति
गुड नेक्स्ट
शरत् चवन् महोदय
सुखं त्विदानीं त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभ
सुखं त्रिविधानि त्रिविधं सुखं त्विदानि त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभ
सुखं त्विदानीं त्रिविधं
सुखं त्विदानि त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभ
once again
सुखं त्विदानि त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभ
good next
वीणा फानिश्री भगिनी
सुखं त्विदानीं त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभ अभ्यासात् रमते यत्र दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति
सुखं त्विदानीं त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभ अभ्यासाद्रमते यत्र दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति
good next
काश्मीरा भगिनी
full stop once
सुखं त्विदानीं त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभ अभ्यासाद्रमते यत्र दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति
good next
श्रीलक्ष्मी भगिनी
नमस्ते
नमस्ते
सुखं त्विदानीं त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभ अभ्यासाद्रमते यत्र दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति
good so we'll take the next sloka and then go for meaning of the two slokas together okay next
मृणालिनी गोपालन् भगिनी
यत्तदग्रे विषमिव
यत्तदग्रे विषमिव यत्तदग्रे विषमिव
परिणामे मृतोपमम्
परिणामे मृतोपमम्
यत्तदग्रे विषमिव परिणामे मृतोपमम्
यत्तदग्रे विषमिव परिणामे मृतोपमम् यत्तदग्रे विषमिव परिणामे मृतोपमम्
good next
भानुरेखा भगिनी
तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम्
तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम्
आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम्
आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम्
तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम्
तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम् तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम्
next
लक्ष्मी भगिनी
यत्तदग्रे विषमिव परिणामे मृतोपमम् तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम्
यत्तदग्रे विषमिव परिणामे मृतोपमम् तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम्.
Good. Next.
Sheila Shinde Bhagini.
Full shloka once.
यत्तदग्रे विषमिव परिणामे मृतोपमम् तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम्.
Good. Next.
Anupama Bhagini.
यत्तदग्रे विषमिव परिणामे मृतोपमम् तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम्.
Good. So in these two shlokas, Bhagavan is talking about sukha. Sukha is happiness. Okay. So if you look at that, we have been discussing about various topics in three different guna with three different gunas. Okay. The kinds of topic that we have discussed so far are: the first one we took jnanam, then we had sattvic jnanam, rajasic jnanam, and tamasic jnanam. Then after jnanam, we had discussed about the karma in the same three gunas, sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. After karma, we took karta, again tamasic, sattvic, and rajasic. So jnanam, karta, karma, then buddhi. We talked about buddhi in these three dimensions, and then we have buddhi is intellect, sattvic intellect, tamasic intellect, and rajasic intellect. And then we also discussed about the dhritihi. Dhritihi is resolve, determination in terms of the three gunas. Now Bhagavan is now taking it up with sukham. Sukham is the happiness. So he says that sukham also has got these three dimensions. The kinds of sukham that an individual gets has got a very high, not high, it has got to be dependent upon the guna of the individual. The kind of happiness that a sattvic person gets, the kind of happiness that rajasic person gets, and the kind of happiness tamasic person gets, how they are totally different is what Bhagavan is discussing in these kinds of these three shlokas, these four shlokas, I would say. 3 or 4 shlokas, okay? The reason is that at the end of the day, we have understood the various things about karma yoga and jnana yoga, and then we are in the process of trying to have the right kind of buddhi, right kind of resolve to understand the true nature of ourselves, which is nothing other than the Brahman. Okay, so when you are in this particular journey, what kind of happiness that you are going to get is something that we need to understand. So one of the reasons why Bhagavan is making everything into the three different gunas, sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic, is that we are all very clear that only the sattvic guna is the one that is going to lead a person towards moksha. Rajasic and tamasic will not be conducive for moksha. Sattvic is the only kind of guna which is going to lead it to moksha. So everything in this world we'll be able to put it into the three kinds of gunas. But Bhagavan has taken only some of the specific things like this, which are important from the perspective of spiritual liberation. So from that perspective, he says that we also need to understand how the happiness is derived for a sattvic person, for a rajasic person, and for a tamasic person. Okay. Now, for example, let us start with this shloka itself. Tatsukam sattvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam. So tatsukam sattvikam, this particular happiness is sattvikam. Okay. Which is this happiness that he is talking about? Atma buddhi prasadajam. Atma buddhi prasadajam means that the person has got an intellect in which he was able to have a wonderful understanding of Bhagavan and the true nature of oneself. He has got a clarity in terms of who am I, who is Bhagavan, who am I, Aham Brahmasmi. That kind of clarity when somebody has got, that particular person is getting a kind of a happiness within himself, knowing himself, that is supposed to be a sattvic, tatsugam sattvikam proktam. But now if you look at a sattvikam sukam, what Bhagavan says is that Yati agre vishamiva. When you are starting this process of getting into spiritual journey, agre vishamiva. Initially, it is poison-like. Poison-like means you have to take it as painful. Like when I say that you have to now start cultivating a lot of things. We should not be selfish in terms of karma yoga. We should not do kamya, we should not be sakama karma people. From sakama, we have got to go nishkama. From nishkama, we have to do upasana. Then vipassana, we have to do nididhyasana and sravana, manana, all those things. Then read the scriptures and so many things that we have learned. So if we are asked to follow all these kinds of things as a part of our way of life, it is going to be very painful. Okay, so yet agre Vishamiva. Initially, when we want to get into this kind of journey and have this kind of regimen, which is going to tell us that you have to do the scriptures, you have to follow these kinds of duties, you have got to ensure that Nitya karmas are done, you have to start working on your mind, you have got to ensure that you are going to be selfless, you are going to also spend time on meditation, you have to understand Savanamanidhyasa, all these things is a syllabus given to you for spiritual journey. Then it is something like IIT coaching for a 9th standard boy. He is going to be loaded with so many things and it is going to be tough for him. So it's very painful for him at the beginning. Yad agre vishamiva. Pariname. Supposing the person is able to take the kind of load that has been given to him for so much of studies, at the end of it, Pariname, what is that he's going to enjoy? He's going to enjoy that, I have been able to be successful in getting into the institute of my choice. Similarly, in this particular case, initially doing all these kinds of things, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, understanding script, etc., is all going to be demanding on the individual because we are totally changing the way of our life. We have been living in some kind of a life. We thought that that is the way it has got to be. But now we are going to be changing our course of life, right from the way we think, right from the way we eat, right from the way we interact with people. We anudvekakaram vakyam, satyam prehitam. We may not be able to control anger, kama yesha, krodha yesha, all those things we have to give up. So it becomes a total change of life for us. So when we want to take up this particular route, then it is going to be extremely difficult. Jat agre vishamiva. It is going to be extremely demanding at the time of beginning. But pariname amrutopamam, it is equivalent to that of nectar you are enjoying. When you are able to go through this, you enjoy a fantastic thing. A person put so much of hard work, not going out for play and then working day in and day out, and then he's able to crack an exam and getting into IAS or IFS, then that is going to be sukham. He is going to enjoy that kind of sukham. Similarly, if you are going to be in a spiritual journey, going through all these kinds of ordeals, and then you are able to be successful in terms of understanding the clarity within yourself, Atma Buddhi Prasadajam, having a very good clarity, then that is the kind of sattvika sukham somebody can have. Okay, so now I go to Sloka 36. Sloka 36 talks about Sukham Fidanim Trividam. So Bhagavan says that the Sukham also is based on 3 different things. Like Sattvika Sukham is different, Rajasic Sukham is different, and Tamasic Sukham is different. Sukham tu Idanim Trividam. Here, 3 types of Sukham is also there, which Shrunume Bharatarshava, please know from me. So Bhagavan only tells that I am going to talk to you about the 3 different types of Sukha, like Satvik Sukha, Rajasic Sukha, and Tamasic Sukha. Abhyasat ramate yatra dukkhantam cha nigacchati. So now this is the one for this one. What is that? Satvika Shukam, he has already started in this time itself. Abhyasat ramate. What is Abhyasat? You have to have a continuous recurrent practice. Otherwise, we will not be able to get into this kind of a rigor. For example, if you want to be a cricket player, you have to have a continuous practice. Morning, you have to go do your practice for 4 or 5 hours, go running, then go to the gym and keep the body fit, and then all those kinds of things are required. Nothing in this world can be accomplished just by sitting in the house in the potato couch and then say that I can accomplish something of what I want. Impossible. So even if you are going to be a spiritual journey, it is not possible without any abhyasa. What is abhyasa? Abhyasa is karma yoga. Then you have to also learn scriptures. You have to follow them, understand them, and then make it as a way of life. And then try to start doing all those kinds of things which are going to take you towards this kind of a liberation when you are going to be living in this particular life. So, abhyasa pramate. So, at the end of the day, by putting all those efforts, what is going to happen to him? He is going to enjoy. When yatra dukkhantam cha nigacchati. So, at the end of that, dukkha antam, he is going to get sukham. Nigacchati. He will be able to reach. Dukkhantam means the dukkha has been put behind you. Okay, dukkha antam. You have put an end to the dukkha of samsara, which is a karma, janma, dukkha antam. You'll be able to reach that. And once you reach that, what you do? That's what he has told in the next sloka. So, abhyasa ramate. So, abhyasa is extremely important. So, a person who is going to be a sattvic oriented person, he is going to be putting so much of effort in terms of the right kinds of practices for spiritual growth. And initially, it may look like a poison. Yad agre vishamiva. Poison means it is extremely difficult to begin with. When I tell a child that you have to get up in the morning at 5 o'clock and start preparing for the exams or go for the so-and-so work if you want to become a footballer or a cricketer, It's a pain for the child to get up at 5 o'clock. So, agre visham, agre is going to be, initially it is going to be very, very difficult for them. But pariname, at the end of the day, when he is able to accomplish that, he is going to really feel extremely happy. So when you look at that way, this kind of shukam is what is called satvikam shukam, because the person is able to atma buddhi prasadajam. He is able to have excellent clarity in his own self about what is God, what is me, who am I. Every clarity comes to him, and that is the kind of thing is called satvika shukam. He is extremely happy, and he feels that I need to go inside to find out myself. I have to follow all these practices. So that is what is the satvika sukham. So at the end of the day, what happens is satvika sukham, most of the sorrows that we have been facing in the life, we all get totally rid of. Like, he had insecurity was there. Insecurity is gone. Bhaya was there. Bhaya is gone. You did not know what is death, what is life. All those kinds of doubts were there. All those things are gone. And you know that, yes, I have got my own true nature. And that is a great bliss. So we say it's bliss, beautiful. Okay. So that is what is the Satvika Sukham. Now next.
Lalita Bhagini.
Vishayendriya Yogat.
Vishayendriya Yogat. Vishayendriya Yogat.
Yattadagre Brutopamam.
Yattadagre Mrutopamam. Yattadagre Mrutopamam.
Vishayendriya Yogat. Yattadagre Brutopamam.
Vishayendriya Yogat. Yattadagre Mrutopamam. Vishayendriya Yogat. Yattadagre Mrutopamam.
Next please.
Gurumurti Mahodaya.
Pariname Vishamiva.
Pariname Vishamiva. Pariname Vishamiva.
Tatsukam Raja Samsmrutam.
Tatsukam Raja Samsmrutam. Tatsukam Raja Samsmrutam.
Pariname Vishamiva. Tatsukam Raja Samsmrutam.
Pariname Vishamiva. Tatsukam Raja Samsmrutam. Pariname Vishamiva. Tatsukam Raja Samsmrutam.
Good. Next.
Usha Srinivasan Bhagini.
Vishayendriya Yogat. Yattadagre Brutopamam. Pariname Vishamiva. Tatsukam Raja Samsmrutam.
विषयेन्द्रिय संयोगात् यत्तदग्रे मृतोपमं परिणामे विषमिव तत्सुखं राजसंस्मृतम्.
Next.
Rajeshwari Shivashankar Bhagini.
Vishayendriya Yogat. Yattadagre Mrutopamam. Pariname Vishamiva. Tatsukham Rajasamsmritam.
Good. One more person.
Kashmira Bhagini.
विषयेन्द्रिय संयोगात् यत्तदग्रे मृतोपमम् परिणामे विषमिव तत्सुखं राजसंस्मृतम्.
Good. So when you look at Rajasam Sukham, what Bhagavan says is that Vishayendriya Sanyoga, it is the sensory objects or in contact with these sensory organs. Okay. Like my taste buds, I like to have badam kheer. So when my taste bud touches the badam kheer, I got sensory pleasure. Okay. So I like this beautiful flower rose smell. So when that particular thing, when I smell that, that kind of thing is going to give me a good feeling. Sukham, I get a sukham. So the sukham, or when I have a ice cream, I get a fantastic. I love ice creams. When I have ice cream, I get sukham. So what happens is that the sensory organs, you can also take mind also. Mind also certain things it is going to be extremely happy. When I hear the news that I have been able to get a fantastic offer or I got a fantastic deal for business, which will make me richer by so much amount of rupees or so much amount of wealth is going to be created. There's instantaneous sukham that comes into the mind. That's fantastic. Or a child who has written the examination very well, and then the child is told, you've been succeeded now, and you're now going to get admitted to so and so place. Sukham. So sukham comes into us by various ways. But primarily the sukhams are all, if you look at this particular sukham, what we are talking about is that the sensory organs are in touch with the sensory objects, and when the contact is there, there's a lot of sukham. Okay. Yad agre amrita upamam. So when that kind of beginning, what happens is that agre, yad agre amrita upamam, it is equal to that of nectar. Or an example is given as nectar. In the beginning, it looks like a nectar. It's very beautiful. I have been going on a hot day, and then I got ice cream. I ate one ice cream. I enjoyed. Then what happens that initially it is fantastic. When the sensory organs are in touch with sensory objects, initially the feeling is extremely fantastic. All the sensory things, including the mind, in terms of the various other factors that we are dealing with in terms of the worldly things. Okay. Then what happens? Pariname, after some time, Vishamiva, that is going to become painful. Initially, it will be fantastic. I eat my first ice cream, my happiness level is 10 out of 10. Second ice cream I take, I am still 10 out of 10. Third ice cream I take, it comes to 7 out of 10. Fourth ice cream, 5 out of 10. Fifth ice cream, 3 out of 10. Sixth ice cream, I say, thank you very much, I can't eat it anymore. So that ice cream is not the essence of happiness. You find that initially it was very good, but towards the end, you cannot accept that. You want to just get rid of it. I said, no, thank you very much. Please don't throw this ice cream to me. That's what happens to many of the sweets and other kinds of stuff also. So everything looks initially fantastic, but when the sensory objects are losing the contact with the sensory organs, you lose the interest of that. Or familiarity also breeds contempt. That you have been using the same TV for, when I purchased my new 8K TV, fantastic. After 1 year, I'm still happy. But the third year, I found 16K has come with a kind of different kind of a technology, and I saw it in neighbor's house. Then I lost my interest. Pariname Vishamiva. That's how now I have to get my TV change. So what happens is that in all these kinds of world of objects, which are going to be experiencing to the sense organs, etc., they will be initially beautiful, fantastic. You go on a vacation, and then the first day you go there, you are at the height of enjoyment. For fifth day, you say, come, let us go home, and then have a shower. I think that is going to be fine for us. You want to come back. You just say, okay, everything is fine now. Now let us take the flight and get back. So what happens is that initially everything will have excitement, but over periods of time, it is going to start deteriorating. Okay, so he says that Vishayendriya Sanyoga Yat Agre Amrita Upamam. The earlier thing was Yat Agre Vishamiva. When you are going to do a lot of hard work to achieve something, initially it is difficult, but the end of the day, when you are going to experience whatever you are going to experience, that Sukham Satvikam, that is going to be everlasting happiness. You crack something, everlasting happiness. Okay, but here what happens is initially it is fantastic, but Pariname after due course of time, it becomes painful for you. You are not able to be appreciating that. So this kind of sukham, which is not going to be permanent with you, and it is all because of the presence of the objects and objects as well as the sense organs contact, which is providing you the pleasure, which means the external world of interaction is the one that is providing you the pleasure. This kind of pleasure is primarily classified as rajasic because it cannot be lasting forever. Whereas the person, after so much of karma yoga, jnana yoga, etc., when he is able to get the atma sukham, atmanye atmana tuttaha, we have read that in one of those things. See the prajnastu uchyate. Those kinds of people, they don't have anything. They are able to be extremely happy with their own peace, happiness, contentment by sitting. Sita prajnasya uchyate. Atmanye atmana tuttaha sita prajnasya uchyate. So they are able to be extremely happy within themselves, and there's nothing else that needs to be there for them to be happy. The other important thing is that what is it? It's called Atmavayam and Paravayam. Okay. Okay. If you look at that way, when you are going to be dependent on somebody, okay, for your day-to-day existence, is that going to be giving you a happiness, or when you are going to be managing everything on your own, whatever you want, that is going to provide you happiness? We always will find happy when we find that We are only Atmavayam. I am in the control of myself, but not Paravayam. I am not in the control of somebody else who is controlling me. So I am not dependent on somebody else to take care of me. So when you find that you are able to have control of yourself, you are happy. Even if if we are all able to be leading our life till the last breath with our own independently managing what we have to do, whether it's going to be food or whether we take care of walking or take care of our own clothing, etc. That's a bliss. I think many people are struggling with that because once they start depending on another person, no, they people who are having difficulty in getting up out of the bed and they have to be provided with a lot of help, and the individual will feel very much handicapped when he feels that he is not able to do it, and he has got to always depend on somebody financially, physically, mentally, emotionally. That is very bad. Whereas in this, they'll find it to be extremely difficult. Whereas Atmavayam, when you are going to be within yourself, you are self-reliant and you are able to be managing everything yourself and no need of dependence. Rather, you will be able to go and support somebody. That's the best thing to be in. So when you are going to be Paravayam means when you are going to be dependent on external things, you have got a limitation in terms of happiness. Whereas when you're self-reliant, you're extremely happy. So now when you look at it from the objective world, this is okay. This is the way we can look at it. But now you look at it from the other side. When I am going to be dependent upon external things for my happiness, whether I am going to be extremely happy about it, or when I am going to be individually happy with my own self, which is going to be lasting happiness. That's what Bhagavan says here. He says that Vishayendriya Sanyoga Yat Agre Amrita Upamam Pariname Visham Iva Tatsukam Raja Samskritam. So this is the kind of sukha that these people enjoy. They are also happy. They also have got bouts of happiness. They go out on a picnic, they are very happy. They have ice cream, they are very happy. They have got a fantastic meal, they are very happy. After having that meal, they go home and say, Aaj bahut kha liya hai. Then another 3 hours they are struggling. So that sukham is not lasting sukham. Pariname vishamiva tat sukham rajasam. So that kind of sukham is classified as rajasam sukham. Then the next one is tamasam sukham. Next, please.
Sheila Shinde Bagini.
Yes, sir.
Yadagre cha
यदग्रे चानुबन्धे च यदग्रे चानुबन्धे च
सुखं मोहनमात्मनः
सुखं मोहनमात्मनः सुखं मोहनमात्मनः
यदग्रे चानुबन्धे च सुखं मोहनमात्मनः
यदग्रे चानुबन्धे च सुखं मोहनमात्मनः यदग्रे चानुबन्धे च सुखं मोहनमात्मनः.
Good. Next.
Veena Fanishri Bagini.
Dralasya pramadottam.
She is left. Sri Lakshmi Bagini.
Nidra
Sri Lakshmi.
Yes, sir.
Pramadottam.
Nidralasya pramadottam. Nidralasya pramadottam.
Tattamasamudahridam.
Tattamasamudahritam. Tattamasamudahritam.
Nidralasya pramadottam. Tattamasamudahritam.
Nidralasya pramadottam. Tattamasamudahritam. Nidralasya pramadottam. Tattamasamudahritam.
Good. Next.
Sharat Chavan Mahodaya.
Yadagre chanubandhe cha sukham mohanamatmanah nidra lasya pramadottam tattamasamudahrutam.
यदग्रे चानुबन्धे च सुखं मोहनात्मनः निद्रालस्य प्रमादोत्थिं Tatta samudavritam
Okay, good.
yadagre chanubandhe cha sukham mohana atmanam nidralasya pramaduttam tatta samudavritam.
Good. Next.
Rajeshwari Shivshankar Bhagini.
यदग्रे चानुबन्धे च सुखं मोहनमात्मनः निद्रालस्य प्रमादोत्थं तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्.
Good. Next.
Vijayalakshmi Bhagini.
यदग्रे चानुबन्धे च सुखं मोहनमात्मनः निद्रालस्य प्रमादोत्थं तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्.
Good. So, in the earlier two slokas, we talked about, in the case of Satvikam, Agre Vishamiva, it was painful at the beginning, and in the end, it was Amarta Upamam. It was going to be like a nectar. Rajasic, we found that it was nectar at the beginning, and towards the end, Pariname Vishamiva. So that's what happened. But in the case of a tamasic person, Agre cha Anubandhe cha, at the beginning as well as at the end, this person is deluded with what is happiness. Mohanam Atmana. What is that happiness that he thinks is enjoying? It's all deluded happiness right from the beginning up to the end. Whereas in other two cases, it was very clear. Beginning difficulty and then putting a lot of abhyasam, then they get everlasting shukam in the case of Satvikam. Here, beginning appears to be very good, Rajasic, enjoying. Then after some time, he loses the interest, he loses the taste of that. Shukam to gaya hai. But in this particular case, he thinks that he is very happy at the beginning and very happy at the end also, and he is totally deluded. Why is he deluded that he is thinking? Why is he deluded and is thinking that he is enjoying or being very happy? Because in his tamasic sukam, he feels that nidra, happiness. I had a sleeping always. Nidra is happiness. Okay, now when you really analyze the nidra, at the time of nidra, neither your body is active, nor your mind is active, nor your senses are active. Then what is that is going to be providing you with the happiness? How do you know that you are happy? If you will not even know that you are happy. You'll only say that I had a good blissful sleep. That's it. But this fellow thinks that he was sukam. Sukam means he did not. Whereas if you are interacting with the world, you go and see a new place, you look at the beauty of Himalayas, look at the Ganges, there is definitely the Indriyas are seeing something, you get a sukam. This fellow is absolutely unconscious about himself, or body, mind, everything is out. And then he says nidra, he says sukam. So that is what is one thing that these fellows think. The second thing is that alasya. Alasya means laziness. Okay. The person says that, oh, I work for 5 days. The Sunday, what I'm going to do? I'm going to sleep and then get up at 11 o'clock. And then what else you'll do? No, I won't do anything. I'll just order food from Zomato, sit and watch TV, and then again go for a sleep and then sit and watch TV. Laziness. And he feels that by being lazy on a Sunday, his happiness is there. Just you have to analyze these things. So you just think about it. That is what these people think. That, I don't have to do anything, just sit there. Laziness is happiness. Sleep is happiness. Then pramadottam, negligence. Negligence is not even bother about certain things. So he feels that is also happiness. So their own concept of sukha is absolutely deluded. They think that happiness remains in sleep or negligence or not bothering about things, or in the case of being lazy is the happiness. So they think that ignorance, we also say, ignorance is bliss, right? That's what we say. So perhaps that is what this particular person is thinking, that ignorance is bliss. So he is very, very happy about it. Okay. And then say that he thinks that sleep is bliss, ignorance is bliss, laziness is bliss. So his concept of blissfulness is ignorance, sleep, and laziness. So that is those kinds of people are tamasa people. And these tamasa people, if you tell them, so this is 5 o'clock in the evening on Sunday, we have got a wonderful lecture given by Swami Prabodhananda, Swami Sukabodhananda at nearby a house. Why don't we go and come? He said, thank you very much. You won't come, I'm fine. So he has got no opportunity for him to rise himself to understand what else he can do. So what do we do with the tamasic people? Tamasic people, we have to make them first understand and then make them into rajasic. Then only then they'll be able to move into sattvic and then understand the purpose of life and move up. So otherwise, these tamasic people are extremely difficult because their own concept of happiness, their own concept of Bhagavan, their own concept of life, everything is totally, only thing is that these tamasic people are looking like human beings, but they are intellectually they are more towards the buffaloes. That's what Swami used to say. They are more like a buffalo. Sometimes we also say when somebody is not responding, this fellow is like a buffalo here. He does not even respond, does not have any kind of sense. We say that. So they are not able to utilize the faculties fully for progressing. Even you can be rajasic, you can be always earning money, have a wonderful lifestyle, participate in the economy of the country by earning a lot and doing lot great businesses, making innovations and all those kinds of things. Rajasic is also very good, but this guy is different. So this is the kind of typical behavior of a tamas, not sukham. The sukham concept of a tamasic person is this. So now we understood the sukham concept of a sattvic person, sukham concept of a rajasic person, and sukham concept of sukham understanding of a tamasic person. And the lasting one is for sattvic, transient one is rajasic, and totally misunderstood the concept of sukha is tamasic. So that is what Bhagavan says. So he says that ultimately, what is the purpose of getting moksha? The purpose of getting moksha when you are going to be living in this body itself is that you enjoy the sukham because you get the clarity. And the sukham is all pervasive. You will always be smiling. You'll always be happy. Nothing in the world will be able to hurt you, and you will be able to look at dispassionately and help others. You will be able to be extremely energetic. You will find that every day is a blessing, and you would like to utilize the time very judiciously. Get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and then see if I can read some 5 more slokas and try to understand what it is and try to spend some time on some kind of japa or some other kinds of measures. That is what Sattvikam. That is what Bhagavan says. Yes, you have to understand that and try to be focusing in terms of becoming more and more Sattvik. Okay. Now with this particular thing, he has already covered 6 different topics on 3 different dimensions of Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. Now, Bhagavan is also having a new chapter, that is new topic that he is bringing about is guna and karma. We already spoken about this guna and karma a couple of times, and I also made some kind of slides, etc., and shared with all of you. So he will be now talking about guna and karma, and Bhagavan says in this particular next 4 or 5 slokas that you complying to your own guna and your own karma, what you have to do as per your varnashrama, that itself will help you in terms of mental purity. Because now Bhagavan is trying to summarize. He says that ultimately the entire teaching is that all of us have got to get liberated, for which different things are to be understood by us, and then different things has to be done by us in terms of liberation. And from that perspective, he says that you also have to ensure that whatever is the kind of ordained duties for your varna, you have to ensure that you are going to do that. So he's going to be talking about guna and karma the next 4 or 5 slokas. Okay. Next, please.
Mrinalini Gopalan Bagini.
Natadasti prithuvya.
Okay. Banu Rekha Bagini.
न तदस्ति पृथिव्याया न तदस्ति पृथिव्याया
दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः
दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः
न तदस्ति पृथिव्या वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः
न तदस्ति पृथिव्या वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः न तदस्ति पृथिव्या वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः.
Good. Next.
Anupama Bagini.
Sattvam prakrutijayirmuktam.
Sattvam prakrutijayirmuktam. सत्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं
यदेभिः शास्त्रिभिर्गुणैः
यदेभिः स्यात्रिभिर्गुणैः यदेभिः स्यात्रिभिर्गुणैः
न सत्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं यदेभिः स्यात्रिभिर्गुणैः
सत्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं यदेभिः स्यात्रिभिर्गुणैः सत्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं यदेभिः स्यात्रिभिर्गुणैः.
Good. Next.
Kashmira Bhagini.
न तदस्ति पृथुव्या वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः सत्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं यदेभिः स्यात्रिभिर्गुणैः
न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः सत्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं यदेभिस्त्यात्रिभिर्गुणैः.
Good. Next.
Srimati Bhagini. Srimati Bhagini.
Oh, sorry, I was in it. Na tadasti prithivya va devi deveshu va punaha satvam prakriti jairmuktam yadebhisyatri birgunaihi.
Good. Next.
Usha Srinivasan Bhagini.
Yes. न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः सत्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं यदेभिः स्यात्रिभिर्गुणैः.
So Bhagavan, what he is telling in this sloka is that we all know that there are three gunas. Okay, sattva, rajas, and tamas. Last 6 different topics also we are discussing only in these 3 different kinds of characters, sattvam, rajas, and tamas. So whether it is going to be in the earth, Prithvi, or Divi, Divi means heaven, or among gods, Deveshu. Okay. Na sattvam asti. What he says is that there's nothing that is, anything that is existing, it is not possible whether it is going to be either in the earth or in the heaven or among gods. What is not possible to not to have? That it is not possible not to have gunas. Everything in any one of the places that is going to be in the heaven or in the earth or anything that you have existence, they have to be having some gunas. So Bhagavan says that everything that is existence has got to be having a representation of gunas. For example, if you look at a rock, rock has got existence. Rock is what? Fully tamoguna. It has got absolutely inert. It is tamoguna. Then when you come to plants, what is a plant? Plant has got more of tamoguna and less of rajaguna, because rajas means it is slightly able to move only vertically or it spread himself. It is not able to move. Plants are not walking along with you. They'll be able to only start moving or growing only in their own self. That is rajas. There is some amount of action is there, but more amount of tamo, it is going to be remaining in the same place, and some amount of sattva also is there. Okay, that is what is the case of what do you call plants. So in the case of rock, it is going to be purely a tamas. Plants will have some amount of more amount of tamo, then some amount of rajas, and least amount of sattva will be there. Then when you look at it from plants, we come to animals. When you come to animals, animals will have rajoguna as very, very high. They'll be absolutely active. Then they will also have tamoguna, and then varying degree of sattva guna. For example, a lion will have one type of guna, a cow will have a different kind of a guna. If you look at that way, cows, we can always say that it is more sattvic than that of a lion. When you look at a dog, dog may have rajas also is there, some amount of tamas is also there, But when you look at it from the compassion, from the love, the sincerity, all those things, that also will be able to exhibit some amount of sattvic guna. Whereas when you look at a snake, the kind of things, it is totally different. So when you look at every creation is going to be having a mixture of sattva, rajas, and tamas. Anything that you see in the world has got to be having all these three gunas. So when you look at it from the rock to the plant to the animals, then when we come to human beings also, all the human beings also will have the dominance of all these gunas. It will have all the three gunas will be available. But only thing is that for some people, sattva will be more, rajas will be less, and tamas will be lower. For other people, it is going to be rajas is very high, then some amount of sattva, some amount, lower amount of tamas. Third person will have very high level of tamas, lesser amount of rajas, and no sattvic also. So based on that, Bhagavan has told in the chapter 4, Chaturvanyam Maya Srishtam Gunakarma Vibhagashah. You remember the shloka? He says that all the four varnas were created by me. How did these four varnas come? There are three gunas, sattvic, rajas, and tamo, which I think we have discussed a lot of times. And I also sent you that PDF file to all of you, in which we have discussed about how the gunas and the karmas are going to lead to the varnas like Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, right? I'm sure you'll be able to recollect that very fast now. So now if you look at that way, a person can be having different combinations of sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Depending upon the percentage of these things, you have got different types of people in the whole world. Okay, it's just a combination of sattva, rajas, and tamas. A person who has got a predominance of sattva, say let us assume he got 70% is sattva guna, 20% is rajo guna, and 10% is going to be tamo guna. So this is going to be one class of people we will be able to see. Yes, we can put them into one bucket. Okay, and in our Vedic time, they said that if a person is able to show 70% sattva, 20% rajas, and 10% of tamas, we will put them as a brahmana. Okay, we will classify because it's gunas have come out of nature. It is not that somebody just because he has been born to a Brahmin family becomes a Brahmin. But if you look at it from the perspective of the mind, they only talk about the individual. Okay. So 70% sattva, rajas, tamas. If you look at it in this particular combination, the first one is 70%, second is 20%, third is 10%. Then this person is classified as a Brahmana. The next category is that sattva, tamas, and rajas is not taken into account because a sattvic person knows the value of time and he is not going to be wasting away his time by sleeping on dawn. When a person is predominantly sattvic, he will not have tamas as the second characteristic. He will only have rajas. So a sattvic, tamas, rajas is ruled out. 70% sattvic, 20% tamas kind of personality cannot exist. So we have sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic, 70, 20, 10. The next category is going to be rajasic, sattvic, tamas. 70% rajasic, 20% tamasic, and this 70, 20 and all is all arbitrary numbers I'm giving, just to give some kind of a context to it. And 10% tamasic. Okay, when we have 70% rajasic and 20% sattvic, rajasic is followed by sattvic, and then 10% tamasic, these people are going to be great leaders. Okay, they are all called kshatriyas because they got a very high level of energy. They want to do a lot of things. Rajasic people, and they are backed up by what? Sattva, which means that they need to be following a lot of dharma. So if you look at all the kings like Janaka or even Pandavas, they are all kshatriyas. They will try to ensure that they are going to provide leadership for the community. They'll be rajas. At the same time, when they are rajas, they ensure that they are not going to flout on dharma. They will ensure that their responsibility is to take care of my people, responsibility is to protect them, responsibility to support them. I need to feed them. I should not go down on dharmic thing. So those kinds of people are classified kshatriyas. Kshatriyas, because of their power, their strength, etc., and their agility, and then the dynamism that they had the natural leadership of everything. Okay, and they can protect the people also. So we have brahmanas, kshatriyas. The third category is called vaishyas, who are supposed to be again higher amount of rajasic, followed by tamasic, and then only sattvic. Sattvic is the lowest for them because, and then they have more amount of tamasic than sattvic. These kinds of people, because they are Rajasic, they are extremely active in various kinds of activities. But only thing is that their value systems are low because Sattvic is low. And these guys are classified as Vaishyas. Vaishyas in the sense, a businessman will always look at opportunity. When the demand is very, very high, supply is less, he will jack up the price and make money. When there's a lot of demand for milk today and he does not have so much amount of milk, he will not compromise to add some dilution of the milk and supply. So they are all business people have got their own way, knack of doing things. Yeah, I'm not trying to demean them, but they have got their own means of managing things. And then primarily, what is that intention? Intention is supply, demand, profit. Looking at the supplies and the demand, and looking at the price fixation, and then if there's a need for some dilution, etc., they do all those things and then make money. Like today in the hotels, if there's excessive food, they put it in the freezer. Next day morning, they heat the chutney and sambar and they serve it out because they will do it like that. So their value system is low. Sattvic is less. So they are all business people. They can be classified as Vaishyas. And the fourth fellow is the person who is predominantly lazy, tamasic, 70%. And then he will not have sattvic quality. He has got to only follow it up by Rajasic, but at least he'll get up and then have some food and go to sleep. So he has got some amount of activity will be there. And then he is going to be going to very, very low level of sattvic. So he's not going to have any great level of dharmic following and doing a lot of virtuous things will not be there with him. So those kinds of people were classified in the society those days as Shudras. Okay, so let us not mistake that from the perspective of somebody has been told as Shudra, somebody is Brahmanas. No, it is primarily in terms of the mental making of the individual, in terms of what he is capable of. A person who is capable of learning, a person who is capable of by hearting a lot of things, understand the value of our scriptures, and ensure that the scriptures can be taken to the people for the benefit of the people, then he is able to read so 3, 4, 6 hours a day and then reproduce a lot of things and talk. Then they say, let him be called as a Brahmana. And if his fellow is only always active, etc., and then he still has a lot of dharmic values, he is the person given the responsibility of leading the entire country. Rajas are Kshatriya. So that is the way the Chaturvanyam Maya. It's not that Bhagavan has started this caste system in 5,000, 6,000 years ago, and that caste system is wrong. That is a very wrong understanding by our own people. It is just kind of mapping the capability of the person to the job responsibility that they have to do. In every organization, we have the responsibility of understanding what the capability of the person of job to be done, and then how do we map and where do you put it? And that is one of the important when we make a job mapping and responsibility mapping, we do that. We have to do a name wise under different parameters. We do that and then say this guy can only do this kind of job. This has been done by Bhagavan long years back, and he says that these people are going to have different types of capabilities. Based on that, they'll be able to be classified and bucketed into different kinds of things. So, what Bhagavan has told in this shloka is that it is not possible to have any existence in the world without gunas. All of them will be governed by gunas, but the amount of gunas will be different. It may be X% of sattvic, Y% of rajasic, and Z% of tamasic. That combination may vary, but everything will come under the gunas, right from a rock to the plant to the animal to the human beings. All of us will come under that. So he says, nothing else, na tadasti, spritivyamba divi. So nothing can exist, whether it is going to be earth or the heaven or devas, etc., without these kinds of association with gunas. These gunas are kind of a inbuilt thing which is born out of nature. Prakutihi jaihi. And it is not possible to get rid of it. It is all born out of it. And vimukta, we cannot get rid of the muktam is not possible. You cannot get rid of the gunas. Gunas is going to be a part of the existence. So that is the meaning of this sloka. Okay. Next.
Sri Lakshmi Bhagini.
Brahmana Kshatriya Visham.
Brahmana Kshatriya Visham. Brahmana Kshatriya Visham.
Shudranancha parantapa.
Shudranancha parantapa. Shudranancha parantapa.
Brahmana Kshatriya Visham. शूद्राणां च परन्तप
ब्राह्मणक्षत्रियविशां शूद्राणां च परन्तप ब्राह्मणक्षत्रियविशां शूद्राणां च परन्तप
Good. Next.
Lakshmi Bhagini.
कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि
कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि
स्वभावप्रभवैर्गुणैः
स्वभावप्रभवैर्गुणैः स्वभावप्रभवैर्गुणैः
कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभावप्रभवैर्गुणैः
कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभावप्रभवैर्गुणैः कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभावप्रभवैर्गुणैः
Good. Next.
Sheila Shinde Bhagini.
Yes, sir.
ब्राह्मणक्षत्रियविशां शूद्राणां च परन्तप
Bra
कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभावप्रभवैर्गुणैः
ब्राह्मणक्षत्रियविशां शूद्राणां च परन्तप कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभावप्रभवैर्गुणैः.
Good. Next.
Bhanu Rekha Bhagini.
ब्राह्मणक्षत्रियविशां शूद्राणां च परन्तप कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभावप्रभवैर्गुणैः.
Good. So what Bhagavan says in this is that Brahmana, Kshatriya, Visham is Vaishya. So Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudras. These four different classification has been done based on whatever kinds of action they are capable of doing, which is born out of their own natural guna. Swabhava prabhavaihi gunaihi. They are only the capability which is coming naturally to them based on the kind of action that they will do. They have been classified as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So in this particular sloka, one thing that you have to understand is that Brahmana, Kshatriya, Visham, that is, he could have put Brahmana, Kshatriya, Visham, Shudrana, could have put all the four together, but he has very specifically put Brahmana, Kshatriya, Visham as one bucket, Shudrana, another bucket. The reason is that Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishyas, they only have the capability of understanding Vedic scriptures and moving up in the ladder of spiritual journey. So Bhagavan has told that if this fellow is going to be tamasic fellow, he is ordained for a Muda Yonishu in the next birth. He is not fit to be a human being. So he has just put them aside by putting Shudrana. No. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Visham. Only Brahmins, Kshatriya, and Vaishyas will be able to understand these kinds of scriptural injunctions, and they will be able to start elevating themselves, and then they'll be able to go to the next level. They're like a Vaishya who has been a kind of person who is more profit oriented. It is possible for him to change into a selflessly doing a lot more of service to the nation, people also. So if there are 70, 20, 10 of Satvik, he would have made 70 Rajasic, 20 Satvik also it is possible for him to make. Similarly, the Kshatriya will also be able to move towards this. Like if you look at that way, Rama is a Kshatriya, Rama was a Kshatriya, Arjuna is a Kshatriya. So all those people are also, apart from the responsibility that they have in terms of protecting their own kingdoms, they also have the knowledge because they had a lot of rishis who were all there. We had sage Vasishta was there during Ramayana period, and then he had during the Krishna's time also we had all these big sages were there who were able to provide those kinds of knowledge. No, the Kripacharya is one of the very big acharyas who was also able to provide a lot of understanding. Sandipani was also there. He was the acharya for Krishna and Kuchela. So if you look at that way, there are a lot of people who were able to provide these kinds of knowledge to the Kshatriyas also. So he says that Brahmana, Kshatriya, Visham, Shudrana, cha Parantapa, Karmani pravibhaktani, they have been classified based on their karma. So we have to understand that the classification came because of the capability of the individual to do a specific job. Okay, so we'll start from this sloka and then continue with the class tomorrow. Okay, I thought of taking 3 more slokas, but I think I run out of time. Sukam tvidanim trividham shrudu me bharatarshava abhyasadramate yatra dukkhantam cha nigacchati yattadagre vishamiva pariname mrutopamam tatsukam satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam vishayendriya sayyogat yattadagre mrutopamam pariname vishamiv tatsukam raja samskrutam yadakre chanubandhe cha sukam mohanamatmanah nidralasya pramadotham tattamasamudahrutam natadasti prithuvya divi deveshu va punah Sattvam prakutichairmuktam yadebisyasтрibhirgunaihi brahmanakshatriya visham shudranancha parantapa karmani pravibhaktani svabhava prabhavairgunaihi Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om